Hey, it's Leslie with Cruising with the Fam, and we did yet another excursion through Royal Caribbean. We were stopped at Phillipsburg, StMartin, and we did a small group America's Cup sailing regatta race. It was definitely a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and it did not disappoint. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures and tips on and off the ship. So as usual, on day one of the cruise, when we got to the cabin, there was an envelope waiting with all of the excursion tickets. The ticket for this particular excursion asked that we meet in Zone 3 directly off the ship at 9:30 a.m. In this case, it was just literally steps off the gangway. One of the people from the excursion company was right on time, and she gathered up our tickets and gave us a wristband. She put us in a somewhat single file line, and we started to walk maybe 10 minutes or so to a pier where we met a ferry boat. We walked through the port area, and there were lots of shops, and we were actually able to explore them a little later in the day after the excursion. At the pier, before we got on the boat, she split us into two teams and assigned us team captains. Just my luck, the lady running the excursion looked straight at me and said, "You're going to be one of the captains." I didn't even volunteer, but that was okay. We had an American team and a Canadian team, and after the longest game of rock, paper, scissors ever, I lost and my team ended up getting the Canadian boat, but it was still fun. Then we boarded the ferry, we signed a waiver, and we met our captain. Captain Brian was our captain for the day, and he actually used to train people to sail at a YMCA in the Great Lakes and moved over to StMartin to live the island life. Captain Brian immediately started talking about all of the jobs involved in sailing and started talking about what was expected of us. So if you're the type of person who wants an excursion where you're just going to lay back and relax and you don't want to do any type of work on your vacation, this probably isn't for you. He explained to us that we would be doing the racing, we would follow the course, and we would be doing all of the jobs on the boat. Of course, he would be there to teach us and guide us and lead us along the way. But, we did all of the work, and it actually was a whole lot of fun. So we pulled up next to the sailboats and we met the rest of our crew. Our helpers for the day were Tequila and Akquil. You could tell that the crew really had a fun demeanor about them. They were actually family, a lot of them, and they just really were playful, and they had a friendly rivalry between the two boats. There was the Canadian boat and the American boat, and I guess the day before, our boat, the Canadian boat, had lost the race. So our Captain Brian, was really particular about wanting to win on our race. You could just tell that they had so much fun, and they kind of had bragging rights for the rest of the day. So they sat us on the boat according to the jobs that Captain Brian had given us. And there was a bunch of different jobs. I don't exactly know what they were called. Me and another lady were in charge of the ropes and rolling them up when we had to turn the ship and letting them back out. And my husband was in charge of probably the hardest job, which was cranking all of these ropes and setting them. There were people that were turning different levers, and another lady that had another set of ropes. And of course, there was a bartender. There wasn't actually like an open bar or anything. It was just a funny name for her because she had a cooler with sodas and waters, and she was handing out sodas and waters whenever anybody needed a drink. So you don't have to bring drinks. They already had drinks ready for you, and they were ice cold. Captain Brian and the crew briefly went around and kind of gave you an idea of exactly how to do your job in a nutshell. And I'm not going to lie, it was kind of information overload. I was a little bit nervous. Then they called on three big, strong men to come and raise the sail up. So Garrett and Jason helped with that. And that's kind of when the magic started to happen. You saw the sail go up and the wind was blowing and the fun was about to start. So this was definitely my husband's favorite excursion we've ever done. The kids loved it, and I really enjoyed it too. And I think that what was really special about this excursion was kind of that sense of team that we built with people that we didn't even know. I mean, usually you have a relaxing beach day or you have an experience with animals or something, but this was something truly unique and one of a kind. I know it sounds super cheesy, but like at the beginning of the day, we were strangers, and at the end of the day, we were teammates. We had really shared something. We tried something that we had never done before. We had raced the boat, we had worked together, and we were victorious. And throughout the rest of the trip, we'd see these people in the elevator, and we just smile and reminisce, and we exchange pictures and videos, and it was just an excursion like none other. They really did a great job with this one, planning it. I mean, it was just awesome to have that sense of friendship by the end. which you don't experience with many excursions. You really had something that all ages could enjoy. My husband and I are middle-aged. My kids are almost teenagers. There were several seniors, and we were all capable of doing the job, and we all had just an amazing time. So at this point, it was time to put it all into action, and we went through, and Captain Brian kind of gave us our cue, and one by one we did our job, and we started moving along, and we started turning, and we were practicing, and we were catching wind. And it was really cool to see how everybody's job together really did sail the boat. We had about a 6-minute head start to get as much speed as we could before we entered the course. We made several turns, and we had to make decisions along the way as to which way the wind was going and which way to turn that was most beneficial for the boat at that time and what would be fastest. So over the course of the race, we had Captain Brian and Akquil and Tequila's help, but we needed it less and less. We were able to actually sail the boat on our own and execute our jobs. He would just kind of give us our cue and we would go. And we could kind of anticipate when it was our turn to do the work as well, because you got the sense of how the boat worked and how we turned and how the course went. And we were doing it ourselves, and we kind of had that sense of competitiveness. We really wanted to win this. After that, we did the whole process in reverse. We rolled up the sail, we went over to the ferry boat, and we rowed the boat back to shore. They were waiting for us with a rum punch or fruit punch, whichever you wanted. And then you were on your way to kind of freely meander the shops in the area next to the port, or do whatever you wanted for the rest of the day. So all 4 of us highly recommend this excursion. Just keep in mind the physical aspect of it and the social aspect of it, and see if it's right for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips and tricks on and off the ship. Have a great day.